Welcome to a realistic day in the life of a full-time content creator shot on the brand new Sony FX2. Because this is a new cinema camera, we are going fully anamorphic today, and everything will be shot on this camera except the shots of the camera itself. Now today we are going to put the camera on the test on a little rainy day adventure. However, every morning I basically start with replying to emails. Very exciting, very fun. There's a surprising amount of admin I need to do every day, especially since 80% of my income comes out of my emails. Whether it's brand deals, collaboration requests, licensing negotiations, it's all here, not super fun, but we've got to get it done. Now enough of that, let's get out on the road and see what this camera is made of. We have arrived to the Giracool Loop, and basically what's been happening, it's been absolutely pouring in Sydney for the past like 5 days. So what I was envisioning was a beautiful waterfall with tons of flow cascading down, and it'll be a lot more impressive than it normally is. So I'm actually shooting on my RS4 Mini on a little tripod, and it's tracking me with the little tracking module pretty damn well. So this is pretty cool, I must say. We also have a special guest, being my girlfriend out there, but we'll see her soon. So let's get out there and start walking. We haven't really started the hike yet, but say hi to my lovely girlfriend.
Hello, lovely girlfriend. Just kidding, we'll start this.
Are you excited?
Could still rain. There are puddles everywhere. I'm very excited though. Yeah, it'll be nice.
Do you know what to expect?
No, but we've been stuck inside for like the past 3 days, just editing. This guy has been on his laptop, looking like a shrimp like this for the past 3 days, so.
All right, that's enough, yeah? That's enough.
We really need this hike, you know, so yeah. Anyways, I'm excited.
Let's go. So if you aren't up to date with the law of me quitting my job and going full time, long story short, 6 months ago, quit my job, and now we have become a full-time content creator. That's not with some fear and some worries of where my paycheck is going to come. However, we'll get into the realities of full-time creating very soon, but we've got some waterfalls to see.
So some may think this video is sponsored by Sony, but in reality, I'm just playing around with a new camera as a loaner, no money exchange, nothing. On the other hand, if you want to actually learn the process of color grading any type of footage, say goodbye to LUTs, and learn how to color grade fast, have a look at my DaVinci Resolve course. It's a way to support the channel, and I guarantee your videos will look better afterwards.
All right, so we're filming Anamorphic right now on the brand new FX2, which is the camera right there, and it has de-squeeze, but it's like every Sony camera, FX3, all that. Unfortunately, when you de-squeeze, there's no autofocus and there's also no IBIS, which is just kind of silly. Autofocus, I understand, there's only like 3 autofocus lenses. I'm using one right now, link in bio if you want to check it out. Do recommend, but IBIS, you know, it's nice to have some IBIS. I don't know why Sony doesn't allow that. Maybe the processors can't handle it. So I'm not even using de-squeeze right now, which kind of defeats the purpose of my cinema camera. Let's keep going. Alright, so that was the Giracool Loop, a little 40-minute walk, and it was pretty nice. Coming here after some rain is honestly quite incredible. The waterfalls are going nuts, and now it's like 3-4 p.m. and we need to go eat something. In regards to the camera, pretty solid. Well, this is essentially the A7 IV. There's so many like nice cinema camera features now that can help you film better. I like how it has a 180-degree shutter. You've got all the ISO modes like Cine EI, except I just like doing flexible ISO anyway. But overall, the filming experience is great. It's just a shame it's literally the same as A7 IV. Regardless, it's made for some beautiful images. Now, in regards to the people following my journey of going full-time in terms of content creation, this is a long time coming. If you knew, I was a software engineer for 2 years, kind of just like grinding and saving up and getting to the point which I can quit. And I'm here to say for the past 6 months, I have made 10K, at least 10K every single month, except for last month, which is a bit concerning here and there, but I've had like 25K months, 20K months. So everything's all good, but it's really interesting that I'm a bit of a tryhard. I always try and do as best as I can with anything possible. And the thing is, when I did have that dip in revenue for that 1 month, it was like maybe 6-7K, I kind of thought, oh no, I'm having a crisis, you know, what if I don't get another job? You start getting imposter syndrome, you start thinking, is this possible? But really, it's all kind of like irrational thoughts. I've been doing this for like 2 years now, which we've exceeded 6 figures. I've spoken to some high-level like marketing professionals, and this is obviously not the same, but past performance is really indicative of future performance. I've been grinding this whole time, I haven't slacked off, and we are still pushing along, so there should be no worries in terms of future revenue. At least I hope so. We've also tried to integrate some more revenues of income, but let's go to the cafe, I'm hungry. We're at Grilled, one of Australia's best places to have dinner. Basically, it's just like premium burgers. Very exciting after like 3-4 hours out there just walking that loop, which was supposed to be a 40-minute walk. We're gonna eat something. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. And then we're probably gonna head home, drive like 45 minutes back, do a lot of editing tonight, and we'll talk more about this camera soon. Jocelyn's already asleep. Okay, so after that adventure, we are now back home. I did go to the gym, which is part of the daily grind. But with that being said, let's break down this camera, the Sony FX2. And I'm going to address the elephant in the room. You see, 3 years ago, the Sony a7 IV launched, and that had a revolutionary sensor. Some may have said it was ahead of its time, but 3 years later, we have the FX2, which literally has the same sensor that was implemented 3 years ago. And you see, that's kind of awkward when there's cameras like the Z8 II, Lumix S1 II, some incredible hybrid cameras, and Sony's releasing cinema cameras with literally the same sensor from 3 years ago. But as you can see with all the shots I've taken prior to this point, the quality looks amazing. All the video looks good, so what's going on here? And the reality is the a7 IV was fairly ahead of its time. The 4K 30, the 4K 60 was incredible and can really stand in this day and age of content creation or filmmaking. Now I guess referring to the next part, what's actually different about this and the a7 IV? Well, the most obvious difference is this cool, tiltable viewfinder. How interesting. I guess it is pretty good. The viewfinder itself does work well. And overall, this is like the first cinema camera that Sony have released with a viewfinder, which is nice. This tilt function is good, I guess, but at the end of the day, the only time you're going to use it is if you want like a shot really low to the ground. And instead of like sticking your face and like planking the ground looking like this, you could hypothetically, awkwardly just like look down like this to the ground. Still pretty silly, but there's some use to it. I personally think the tiltability is a bit of a fad, but the fact that it actually has a viewfinder in itself is a huge plus. It is cool to see this new type of layout that Sony has, this little like big 6, shows your frame rate, ISO, shutter angle, f-stop, the LUT you've input, and the white balance, which is pretty handy. And the other slightly new feature is that your photos can be in S-Log, so you have the exact same grade of your photo and video, which is kind of helpful. And you can also put shot markers that export as a photo, which comes out to be like an 8 megabytes photo. Now, to be fair, this camera isn't exactly the same as the a7 IV. It finally has a new AI chip, which has the better autofocus. It has dynamic active stabilization. I also mentioned earlier it has a de-squeeze mode, which turns the IBIS off and the autofocus off. It has an internal fan, but the a7C II and the a7 IV, which all has the same sensor, never actually ever overheated for me. And lastly, we have 16-bit raw HDMI outputs. You know who you are if you need that. So overall, they kind of just added all the new features to the a7 IV and put it in a cinema camera body. You could call this a 2025 a7 IV, which is pretty cool. But at the end of the day, all this is an a7 IV sensor into an FX3 body, which is quite functional and kind of sleek in my opinion. I do like the more rectangular layouts. The a7 IV had a big hump there, still has a viewfinder. It looks a lot cooler, I'll give it that. This retails for about 5,300 Australian dollars, probably less in the US market, which is good, but that is a lot of money for an a7 IV. This is especially since you can buy an a7C II, which is about like 2,700 Australian dollars, which is almost half the price. And it actually does have the AI chip as well, so you're just missing out on this FX3 body and a slightly better viewfinder. If you're a professional filmmaker, you can definitely justify this cost because it does have intangibles you can't replace, like 2 SD card slots and all these professional filmmaking settings. So if that's your career, you can justify this price. But given the a7C II, if you're like a content creator, more so like me, it is a bit of a hard sell. But look, if money's not a problem, I'll buy this in an instant. It's like an upgrade a7 IV. Very fun to use. And overall, I hope this gave you some insight into this brand new camera and insight into full-time content creation. If you're new here, thank you for watching. If you've been around for a while and made it this far, I appreciate you. To finish off the day in the life, it's literally 10:45 PM right now. I'm gonna edit up this video and that's gonna be very exciting.
Catch you guys later.